this heat wave is just doing the most. Like, your glow is honestly 100% sweat. What's up, guys? I am Dr. Anne and this is the Health Hub. If it's your first time, you are absolutely welcome. This is a lovely space for us to engage and talk about all things medicine and medical related. If it's your second time, thanks for watching. If you're coming back for the second time, I mean, you better hit that subscribe button by now, okay? Really. Basically, today is a bit of a different video. So this video is especially mainly directed to high school kids or people who just genuinely wanted to get into medicine but couldn't, but now they find themselves wanting to get back, but now they don't know how to. It's also a bit of a guide of how to just navigate your way into medicine based on where you currently are. So I'll start by saying that a lot of people want to do medicine for different reasons. Some people just genuinely love helping people. Some people just love the thrill of having to save a life. The nice thing about medicine is that it's also one of the few careers that will offer you, I don't know, it's like real life, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like some jobs you will work and not know the difference that you're making, whereas with medicine you see it like real life, like your contribution to society. The nice thing about it is that also you are saving lives, you're making a difference, and you're actually able to see the impact that your presence is making in an environment. So with that being said, some people just wanted to do it for the money, and that's 100% okay. Because, you know, with this whole way in which this country is set up, or just the world in general, the economy in general, you'd find that you picked a career that doesn't offer you financial independence, or you picked a career where you're struggling to get a job. So medicine, in a way, I know now it's like saturated, and, you know, getting a job is also now competitive in medicine. But, you know, I know a lot of people got into it for financial stability, security, and also that just in surety, but actually you're gonna have a job, even though that's changed now. With that being said, your dream is valid, and even though you find that some people had to give up because of the situation or because of the rejection and everything, there's always still a chance. You know, there's always still a chance for you to get to where you actually were meant to be. I feel like as long as you're still breathing, as long as it's still possible, like, it's important that you actually, you know, try to see, actually, is this really meant to be? Did you give up too soon? Just after the first rejection, could you have done more? So basically, I'll just be giving you the various options on what to do when you find yourself in a situation where you don't get in, or you get a letter of rejection, right? Because not everyone is fortunate enough to get in to medicine the first try. So there's various, you know, journeys that people, you know, you can take a group of 10 doctors. You find that they all went through different journeys that led them to the same point eventually. So it's not a race. Some journeys just are a bit longer than others. But, you know, it's important to stay true to your goal and true to your purpose. If you really think that this is what God wanted you to do, or that's what you're meant to do, then it is, your dream is valid, and it is important that you do what is necessary to make sure that you actually exhaust all possible options to make sure that you actually get into medicine. So with that being said, some people are lucky enough to apply and get accepted into medicine. Even with that, like, the whole career is just, how do I put it, it's different. It's you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like, it's mentally challenging. You'd find that even if you got in you know, get go, or from the start, or from your first application, or from your first try, that your challenge now is the actual work during medicine. You might end up failing, but it's important that you also stay in your lane and understand that it's a journey, and everyone's journey is different. You find people who pass till the end. Some people will have failed, had to dust themselves up and try again. You know, so it's very different for everyone. So it is important that you keep that in your mind when just getting into the field or attempting to get in, right? So yeah, let's say you are one of the people who are not lucky enough to just get accepted on the get-go. So there's different routes that you can follow in order to make sure that you get to the same end goal, which is you being Dr. Mangma. Yabo? Number one, you'll find a subset of people who, when they get that letter of rejection to say, no, you did not get in, what they will do is that they will go back and upgrade their marks to make sure that they get maybe an A in like maths or whatever. You find that it's people who got like maybe 60s or 70s. Now they go back and, you know, rewrite their matric or some of the subjects in Matric to make sure that they actually get better marks. I actually know doctors who we graduated with who did that. So they'll decide that, okay, I passed Matric, but my marks are not so good. Yes, I didn't get in, but I'm taking this year to actually upgrade my marks to make sure that I get in. But the thing with this is that just because you get better marks does not guarantee that you're gonna actually get in. So this is where the second subset of people falls in, that you then don't rely on your marks, but you fall back on your second and third choice, which you are required to write down when you're applying. So basically in the whole application process, they ask you, okay, what are you applying for? I'm applying for medicine. So medicine is my first choice. My second choice is this. My third choice is that. So these choices are important in that they determine how quickly you get into medicine, whether or not you are going to transition into medicine midway, or if you're going to transition into medicine after completing that second or third choice that you will have picked. So when you have to, have that in mind, that, okay, since I'm picking this option, I'm hoping that maybe I'm going to get into medicine in the second year. But that option that you pick matters because it will determine whether the requirement is that you finish the whole course before you can reapply into medicine, or the requirement is that you just pass your first year subjects well so that you get into medicine, right? So injalo nje. So let's go into the different options that you can pick and what they mean. And we'll just talk about the pros and the cons, and basically we'll just navigate whether they allow you to get in halfway or the requirement is that you complete the whole course. The first thing that I'm going to go through is dentistry. So dentistry, I feel, is not a valid option to pick if you're trying to get into medicine. It's either you want to be a dentist or you don't. It's either you like teeth or you don't. It's you become a doctor eventually. That's the title you get, and dentistry is 5 years to complete. So the reason why I'm saying it's not a valid option to pick if you're trying to get into medicine is that it's a whole different, program on its own, and it has different course material. It does not do anything to contribute in preparing you get into medicine eventually. You don't even go to the same classes with medical students. You don't even cross ways anyway with the medical students. So personally, please don't make that mistake. It's either you want to be a dentist or you don't. So dentistry on its own is not something that's to be picked as a second option unless you really, really want to do it also. So you have to think about it really, really, really well. It makes sense for me that if you want to become a dentist, you will put oral health or oral hygiene as your second choice, which is a 3-year degree. Also has less requirements in terms of the marks that you have to get in order for you to get into it. So it is important that if maybe you are interested in dentistry, what would make sense is that you pick maybe oral health as your second option so that you can try reapply into dentistry, because it's similar things, man. It's like, it makes sense. So let's get into the second option that you can pick if you're wanting to get into medicine eventually. So that is OT and physio. So OT and physio is it runs a whole different program on its own. The only thing that's a bit more intensive with regard to physio, I think, is the anatomy, which is a little similar to the medical students and etc. We don't go to the same classes. I don't think they did as much physics or bio as we did in first year. So if you happen to choose OT and physio, you have to like it enough to actually do it, or your intention is that to reapply for first year and start all over again, or you will reapply via the GEMP program. And currently, I think it's still only Wits that offers that you can reapply, that with whichever degree that you have, you can apply from third year, for third year medicine. Basically you apply for that, you write a test to qualify, and if you're part of the top 20 people in terms of your marks, then you get in. So that is that. Those are your two options: either you finish physio or OT, you reapply for first year medicine, or you apply for the GEMP program, right? So if you want to know about the program, I think there are a couple of doctors on YouTube who got into medicine via that program. So if you just Google Wits GEMP program, you'll see the videos. They even tell you about the whole requirements, the exam and everything, right? The third option is BCMP, which is Bachelor of Clinical Medical Practice or something. I don't know. Yeah, BCMP basically. I'll literally write it down. When you do this degree, you basically are applying to become a clinical associate. So it's like a degree that's basically given to people who are in between doctors and nurses. Clinical associates work mainly in primary healthcare facilities or small hospitals, and that's where they're allocated. And they work like doctors, literally, guys, they work like doctors in these small hospitals. The nice thing about picking this degree is that you can, because everything is so similar and the whole like foundation and basis of the degree is related to medicine in the medical field. So basically you can apply during the course of your course. So you can be in first year, try apply first year medicine every year, but you just have to make sure that you get really good grades of the current course. So if you are also a clinical associate and you have graduated and you are also working, you can reapply for medicine either from first year or via the GEMP program. The complaint with being a clinical associate that I've picked up a lot of people mentioning is that it doesn't pay well. So I don't know how much they actually really get paid, but I remember coming across these clinical associates and they literally were like, yo, like the money was not so good. I think when they're comparing with the other healthcare professionals. On that note, I think it's important that whatever second choice you choose, you have to at least like it a little bit, just in case you never get in and you are forced to like stick with it. We mentioned dentistry, mentioned OT and physio, mentioned clinical associate or being a BCMP, and the fourth option is the option that a lot of people go with. So it's the option a lot of people pick, and that option is, you know, Bachelor of Health Science. So the nice thing about doing a BHSC is that some of the classes you attend with medical students. With that being said, it makes it sort of nice if you end up having to reapply from first year. You will definitely get credited for some of the subjects that you would have done before. The also other nice thing about BHSC is that because you are so exposed to actually doing a lot of the classes, some of the classes with the medical students, it makes it easy for you to actually, if you want to apply via the GEMP program, actually, you know, write the exam, because some of the subjects you will have done before. So it's the better option to pick. But the not so nice thing about it is that sometimes, like, if you end up not getting picked, like, what will you actually work as? Like, can someone who actually did it like come forth and say where they're currently working in terms of their career choices and you know, career options? Because I know a lot end up in academia and they'll move on to do honors and they'll move on to do PhDs and etc. So I don't know in terms of like the amount of freedom that it gives you when if you eventually never get taken in and you end up staying in that career path. I'm just uncertain with regard to like where you actually work and if it's a big enough field for you to navigate. So if there's anyone who actually is in that space or intentionally applied for it, I know a lot of people say no one will intentionally apply for it. Most people will apply to try to get into medicine, but I'm sure, man, there's like one or two people who probably like really applied for it, you know. So yeah, that's also another option that a lot of people take, and most people in this one will get in. Basically, the sixth option that you can pick is nursing. So the nice thing about these options is that, you know, as we go, the requirements are less. So if you don't get the marks to try to get into medicine, you can do these careers, ne? So most of the time you will get taken into nursing if you don't get into medicine. Yeah, well, if you ever end up in the nursing space, it is better if you do it in a university instead of a college. Apparently there's a difference, like Gucci, there's a difference. I think it has to do with maybe points or whatever, but you know, where you do your nursing is important. Universities may be more academic. Yeah, so it is good that if you have, you know, a nursing degree from university, you stand a better chance. So you can transition, because I know we did some of the subjects with them in first year. Yeah, second year we split, but they also do the same things, just not at the same level of intensity. So by end and like anatomy, physiology and things like that, but even though it's about like that intense, but they also do it. So that's a nice thing about nursing, like I said, as well as the clinical associate or BCMP, like it offers you, like, you have the foundation of medicine basically. That's why it will be much more easier for you to transition into medicine. So if you're in that field, you must not sleep on yourself. Like if you're in university, you have to make sure that your marks on nursing are like A pluses or A's. Then you're able to transition along the way. You don't even have to like let that much time pass you by. Others will apply via the GEMP program to try to write that exam and see if they get the top marks to try to get in, but skip all those years. So if you enter via the GEMP program, you skip first and second year, and then you just enter right in from third year. So yeah, that is that. And before I forget, pharmacy. Like personally, looking back, like, I should have put pharmacy as my second option. I feel like pharmacy, personally, I feel like pharmacy is the better option out of all of them. And here's why. Ne? Pharmacy, guys, I feel like it pays more. I know it pays more. And the way in which pharmacy is structured is that it almost functions like basically medicine. You do locums and whatnot, and pharmacists can even end up getting paid more than doctors, especially if they're willing to put in their hours and etc. So personally, looking back, I'm just like, yes, I should have put pharmacy as my second option, because it's not a bad, like, it's a very safe second option because it pays well. And if you end up never getting accepted, pharmacy is a very, very safe option and a very, very safe career to be in. You are still helping people. You are still helping doctors who make mistakes on scripts. You are still helping, prevent, medical mistakes in that manner. So it is important. It is important of a career, I think. And it's a really nice, safe, second option to pick, just in case, just in case. You never know. So the other ones that I didn't mention were things like speech therapy. I didn't mention, but I feel like it falls, it falls in the bracket of OT physio. Plenty OT, I say OT, physio, radiography. They fall around the same type of spectrum. Let's say you wanted to do medicine, right? And your second option, you put in something so random. Let's say you made that mistake. Until we're fixing mistakes, we're like creating a change, right? Let's say you ended up picking engineering as your second option, like myself. Like, I could have ended up in that group, like, because I put medicine, and then I put chemical engineering, and then I put social work. Like, imagine, like, I could have ended up in this group of the subset of people. So let's say you did that, right? Wafaka medicine, and then your second option was chemical engineer or electrical engineer or accounting or law. Yeah, could be anything, right? Anything outside the health science faculty. With that being said, now you got taken, right? And then you end up doing this degree, and because you're smart, you pass it, I mean, wow, I say, and then you pass it, and then you graduate. And then after graduating, you start working, and you're just like, no, man, no, this is not it. This is not what I thought my life would be like, And then you start to wonder, what if I had actually, did I give up too soon? Should I have tried a little harder? Should I have, done, something more or whatever? And etc. Should I have done something more to try to get in? And then you start to wonder and wonder and wonder. If you fall into this category of people, the important thing for you to do is just double check. Call the health science faculty, especially with Wits, especially if you don't want to start from first year and you want to pull it maybe a couple of years. First, inquire with the Wits GEMP program to try to find out, is the degree that I currently have, does it qualify me to actually apply to enter your program? And that program allows you to start medicine from third year. If you write your board and are part of the top or crew, whatever, then you are able to be taken and get in from third year. So you have to just make sure if your current degree is enough. I know there was a girl in our class who did like marine biology. Bangena, guys, like straight up, like, and then abanye will apply for first year. So that's your other options. Either you apply for GMP program so that at least you do medicine for 4 years, or you enter from scratch. You start applying for medicine from scratch, and in that case you will have to start from first year medicine. And I know it's a bit awkward. Some people will feel like, oh, but I'm too old, or there's this old kids and whatever, I can't be sitting with first years, I'm 35. Hey, if you think it's your purpose and it's your life, you better follow your dreams. Whoever thinks whatever should not be your concern. It shouldn't be your concern, and it shouldn't hinder you from getting to where you want to be. So let age never stop you from getting to where you want to be, or applying for whatever it is you want to be. If you genuinely think it's your dream, that it's valid, and it's important that you chase it with all of your heart and all of your might, because you don't want to be that person who wonders at 50, at 80, what would my life have been like if I had done this and that. Yeah, if there's ones that I didn't mention, please link them down below so that we should continue the conversation and chat about them. And if you fall under any of these other degrees, just make sure that you comment down below. Also, especially the doctors who follow these different paths to get to the end, can they also comment down below so that we actually get to see that it's not like the apply and get in is not the only way that is out there. A lot of people have to apply 5 times. A lot of people had to do a stick with a degree that they didn't want initially, and then try to get in after, and then try reapply for medicine after. Other people actually had a whole completely different career outside of health science, and they then transitioned to medicine. So it's like a whole different path. Like for everyone, each journey is different, very, very different. So that's why I don't want people to like feel discouraged if they don't get into medicine, or think it's the end of the world, or I'm gonna die. You're not gonna die. It's just you have to take a different path, and it may be slightly a bit longer, but eventually you're gonna get there. You're not in competition with anyone. Even if you become a doctor at 40, it's still okay. Like no one is. You're running your own race. You're in your own lane, and God put you where you are for a purpose, for you to learn different things and to create a different character in you, to make sure that you are the best that is out there when you are eventually in the field. Maybe you having to start out as a nurse will teach you that actually nurses matter, and nurses are actually very important, and nurses are actually very helpful and play a major role when it comes to healthcare. Maybe it changes your whole view on the way in which you treat them, because you were one yourself. So with that being said, it is a bit harder. Like you have to be prepared to work hard to try to get in. Like it's harder to get in via those different routes, because you have to prove yourself with whatever field you find yourself in. So it is important that you understand that you will have to put in a lot of work. So yeah, with that being said, good luck guys to everyone who falls under all these categories that I've mentioned. I'm sorry if I forgot any. All the best, and I hope that eventually God, you will end up where God destined you to be. And yeah, all the best to the Matrics who are waiting for results, who are also waiting to hear those letters from the universities, and etc. I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on my next video.